What's up, fight fans? Welcome to Mr. Mustache MMA News, and today I want to discuss this Saturday's UFC 281's main card bout between Dustin Poirier and Michael Chandler. But guys, before we get into it, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button to continue getting more MMA content by yours truly. All right, guys, getting right into it, we got Dustin Poirier taking on Michael Chandler in the lightweight division. UFC 281, super exciting matchup, almost a super fight kind of. You got Dustin coming off of his submission loss to Charles Oliveira last December. And you got Michael Chandler coming off of his phenomenal TKO victory or KO victory over Tony Ferguson last May. You have a very interesting matchup here between two guys who seem to just not really care for one another. Where Poirier kind of publicly dismissed him during a press conference a while back. I think it was when he beat McGregor, and he said that he'd rather go sell hot sauce than fight Michael Chandler because he felt like Chandler hadn't earned his stripes. And I guess shit talk just kind of slowly built until they saw each other. I don't remember exactly when it was, but they crossed paths at a UFC event. And a lot of words were exchanged. It really just seemed because like the cameras were there, it was kind of cringy. Both guys seemed to be kind of trying a little hard there. Maybe they were kind of pushed in each other's direction. But it's set up for an interesting fight, and I think that we have a very good fight. You have Chandler, who is just a guy who's willing to go out and die in his fucking shield. He really doesn't care about a game plan. Just kind of goes out there and just throws everything out in the wind and just hopefully his fucking punches connect. And I mean, and it's worked more often than not for him in his career, and he's had a very phenomenal career. But when it's come to these upper echelon fighters, he's gotten caught, and I'm speaking specifically against Justin Gaethje and Charles Oliveira, and it was working really well against Charles Oliveira until it wasn't. And for Gaethje, I mean, I guess his will and determination kind of turned it around for him towards the end of the fight. But, when he lets himself get clipped and dropped, he loses points and he falls behind. And that kind of happened early with the Tony Ferguson fight where Tony dropped him early in the first round. And Tony was looking good until he wasn't. So that's kind of the way Chandler fights. He really just kind of tries to either, do or die. That's exactly like his entire fucking motto, it seems to be. So, and you have a guy like Dustin Poirier who is slick, decisive, very elusive, and is a pure boxing technician. His jiu-jitsu is pretty good. His wrestling is kind of his big red spot. But his boxing and his striking, his head movement, his ability to hit, not get hit is definitely second to none, especially in the lightweight division. And I think that's probably going to be his keys to victory here. He's going to have to make Michael Chandler swing and miss. He's going to have to deny the takedowns and keep the separation and use his slick boxing and his technique and his ability to pick the spots and make people pay with their mistakes. That is going to be Dustin's key to victory. I think that's kind of what is going to lead to the victory. I think Dustin, is going to be the slicker and more precise fighter in this matchup. I think Michael Chandler, I'm not really sure what we're going to see out of him. I know that he said after the Gaethje fight that he wanted to kind of go to his roots a little more and use his wrestling and kind of use his control. But he's a showman, he's an entertainer, and he kind of seems to be that way at heart. So who knows? I definitely see in my head Chandler overreaching, over lunging, and Dustin being able to use his quick boxing combinations to make him pay for that. I just see him just getting countered. And who knows, he might clip Dustin and take Dustin's lights out. I mean, Dustin does have a history of when he does lose, he loses by KO. I think it was Michael Johnson. Yeah, back in 2016, knocked him out, and he also got KO'd by Conor McGregor. So the times where he has lost, he usually gets finished. So I'm excited to see kind of how this is going to play out. But in my head, I keep seeing Dustin being the more experienced, the more calm guy. He seems to be letting his emotions get to him a little bit, which kind of has me a little worried about him in this matchup, where Chandler seems to be exactly who he is all the time, and that's cool, calm, and collect. And he always seems to be very organized and laid out, and he knows what he's going to say and when he's going to say it. He really doesn't seem to be deterred by any of the bright lights. It seems that he shines brightest under the bright lights. So this fight definitely has me very intrigued for the future of both fighters. I think you have Chandler, I think he's about 36 now, and you have Poirier, who's 33. So these guys are both definitely right in the middle of their physical primes and a crossroads for both of their careers. Even though Chandler's coming off of that very phenomenal victory over Tony Ferguson, he had those losses to Gaethje. He had that loss to Oliveira. So if he gets a loss here to Poirier, he's going to be in this really weird position where he's probably going to be kept as gatekeeper. But he does sell a lot of tickets, so the UFC will definitely push him always. It really all depends on how this plays out. And Poirier, I mean, he has so many other things going on with his life that he really doesn't seem to be fully focused on fighting. I could be totally wrong on that, because Poirier is a fucking killer. But he definitely has a lot to prove here after that loss to Oliveira, where early on just completely dominating Oliveira on the feet, and then I think it was the third round, second or third round, where he just seemed to accept defeat. Like the second he got on bottom position, like he just didn't move, and it was very strange to watch. It was like his will, his power was stolen. It was very weird to see, and he definitely has a lot to prove to the public's eye coming into this matchup with Michael Chandler. But I think that his experience, his slick boxing, his technique, his precise, his head movement, his leg kicks, I don't think Chandler has the ability to stop the attack unless he gets Dustin to the ground and hold him there. And I think that is going to be Chandler's key to victory. If Chandler doesn't clip him with some crazy punch, which he totally can, or some crazy out of nowhere kick like he did against Tony Ferguson, I think those are his best shots against a guy like Dustin Poirier, where I think Dustin's just too experienced against former champions, and I think that that's going to be his keys to victory. Guys, I'd love to hear what you guys think in the comment section. If you guys think that Michael Chandler is going to come out with the victory, or if you guys think that Dustin Poirier is going to come out with the victory, I'd love to hear what you guys think. Guys, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button to continue getting more MMA content by yours truly. All right, guys, Mr. Mustache, MMA News out. Let's fucking go, fight fans.